Again, Sri Ramakrishna began to talk. Master to Bonkim. There are some who do not want to dive. They say, won't we become deranged if we go to excess about God? Referring to those who are intoxicated with divine love, they say, these people have lost their heads. But they don't understand this simple thing. God is the ocean of Omrito, immortality. Once I said to Narendra, suppose there were a cup of syrup and you were a fly. Where would you sit to drink the syrup? Narendra said, I would sit on the edge of the cup and stretch out my neck to drink it. Why? I asked. What is the harm of plunging into the middle of the cup and drinking the syrup? Narendra answered, then I should stick in the syrup and die. My child, I said to him, that isn't the nature of the nectar of Satchidananda. It is the nectar of immortality. Man does not die from diving into it. On the contrary, he becomes immortal. Therefore I say, dive deep. Don't be afraid. By diving deep in God, one becomes immortal. Bonkim bowed low before the master. He was about to take his leave. Bonkim. Sir, I am not such an idiot as you may think. I have a prayer to make. Please be kind enough to grace my house with the dust of your holy feet. Master. That's nice. I shall go, if God wills. Bonkim. There too you will see devotees of God. Master, smiling. How so? What kind of devotees are they? Are they like those who said, Gopal, Gopal, Keshav, Keshav? All laugh. A devotee. What is the story of Gopal, sir? Master, smiling. Let me tell you. At a certain place, there is a goldsmith's shop. The workers there are known as pious Vaishnavas. They have strings of beads around their necks, religious marks on their foreheads, and bags containing rosaries in their hands. They repeat the names of God aloud. One can almost call them sadhus. Only they have to work as goldsmiths to earn their bread and support their wives and children. Many customers, hearing of their piety, come to their shop because they believe that in that shop there will be no trickery with their gold or silver. When the customers enter the shop, they see the workers repeating the name of Hori with their tongues and doing their work with their hands. No sooner do the customers take the seats in the shop than one of the workers cries out, "Keshav, Keshav, Keshav." A few minutes later, another says, "Gopal, Gopal, Gopal." After they talk a little while, the third man cries out, "Hori, Hori, Hori." In the meantime, the customers have almost finished their transaction. Then the fourth exclaims, "Hara, Hara, Hara." The customers are very much impressed with the devotion and the fervor of the owners and feel themselves quite secure in handing them the money. They are sure they won't be cheated. But do you know what lies behind all this? Footnote: Keshava, Gopal, Hori, Hara. These four names of God have a double meaning in Bengali. The second meaning of each word is explained here. Footnote ends. The man who says Keshava, Keshava after the arrival of the customers means, who are they? In other words, he wants to know how intelligent they are. The man who says Gopal, Gopal means to say he finds them no better than a herd of cows. The man saying Hori, Hori means, may I rob them? He suggests that since they are like a herd of cows, they can be robbed. And the last man, who says Hara Hara, replies, yes, rob them. He means that since the customers are like a herd of cows, they can certainly be robbed. Here too, you see a group of pious men, very much devoted to God. All laugh. Bunkim took his leave, but he was absent-minded. When he reached the door, he discovered that he had dropped his shawl in the room. He was in his shirt sleeves. A gentleman handed him his shawl. Of the devotees at Odhor's house, Sharut and Sanyal were Brahmins. Footnote: Sharut became a monastic disciple of Sri Ramakrishna under the name of Swami Sharadananda. Footnote ends. But Odhur belonged to the lower caste of the goldsmiths, and so the two Brahmins quickly left, lest they should be pressed by their host to take their meal there. Sharut and Sanyal had been coming to the master only a short time, and did not know how fond the master was of Odhur. The master used to say that the devotees formed a separate caste by themselves. Among them, there could be no caste distinction. Odhur entertained the master and the devotees with a feast. It was quite late in the evening when the devotees returned home, cherishing in their hearts the image of the master in his spiritual ecstasy and remembering his words of great wisdom. Since Bankim had invited Sri Ramakrishna to visit his home, the master, a few days later, sent Girish and M to his Calcutta residence. At that time, Bankim had a long discussion with these two devotees about the master. He told them that he wanted to visit Sri Ramakrishna again, but his desire was not fulfilled.